to the Chat to Cam podcast. We're back for another episode and we got plenty more coming. So make sure you smash the like button and subscribe. And we got a couple guests today. So I'm joined by, Bolu?
Bolu, yeah.
And Grace. Yeah, you can find our socials below. But yeah, today we're going to discuss mental health and sort of our journeys through the creative process. I guess we'll dive straight in. So yeah, Grace, obviously we were just talking a bit before off camera.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about your sort of journey through like life, growing up, and then sort of into the creative industry.
So personal life, I was actually born in East London.
Right.
I was born in Leytonstone, and then I moved out when I was still a kid to Nottingham, so I got brought up around Notts. And then from there I've lived in many places like around England and Europe. And then yeah, obviously as I got older, like how I got into the industry was I would say mainly through dancing. Like I did study performing arts and musical theatre for 3 years.
Studied at school.
Yeah, so I studied it at school and then I went into college. And then yeah, went straight into dancing, which is stripping. And then from there I like dabbled in like modelling and music videos and the vixen life, and then it just kind of escalated a bit more and more and more to now like TV presence, being invited onto certain things similar to this stuff like that. So yeah.
I mean, to throw it even further back, like what was like a young you like? How were you like? Quite troublesome or?
No, not really. I would say like more towards my teenagers, like the end of school where you're like, fuck this, like, I can't be bothered with doing these things. Like I feel like towards the end of GCSE, I was like a bit more like that. But as like a young kid, very bubbly, always wanted to perform. I learnt the violin from like a really young age. So I was always quite happy to just like, be out there. I was always really adventurous with my friends, playing outside, putting on bike shows for 20p. Like, it's just funny stuff. So yeah, it was like progressed.
Well, what about you, Mbe? Like, how was your experience?
Originally I grew up in Norwood Junction, then I moved to Bolu school. Went to school in Redhill. Then I did my A-levels there. I go to uni of West London. I study computer science, and now I'm going into my third year. And I think it was in my first year I then started like picking up like the things that I do now on the side, obviously, like modeling and other things as well.
Where did that like inspiration come from, or like passion?
I think the passion was just like I've always wanted to like create stuff. I remember when I was young, I actually started a gaming channel. So yeah, I used to like with my friends after school, we play like games, and then I had a YouTube channel that I would like play like Minecraft, Call of Duty, FIFA, GTA, all those other games from. I think it was mainly from that I knew that this is something I'm genuinely.
Is that what led to like computer science?
Yeah, that as well.
Okay. So would you like design something? Do you reckon like a game or?
Yeah. Obviously, the thing I'm trying to get into now is software engineering. So obviously it's along the lines of that. And then I think once I've gotten my experience, and I then move into like creating something.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, it is.
So Grace, you were saying about getting into that vixen life and what like what was that experience be?
Good and bad, I would say. It was definitely like good and bad experiences. I feel like you kind of have good and bad experiences anywhere. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I can say that. But I feel, I'm not sure as of like right now, because I probably haven't like done that type of modeling or work for maybe like 4 or 5 years now, maybe. But back then I just feel like it was very underpaid and like under-respected. People kind of just thought like, I feel like people kind of viewed you as just like, you're like these girls coming through to like parties instead of girls coming through to do a job. Right. So it was very hard to like balance.
How did that make you feel?
It made me feel like I wanted to leave, so I did. I remember I've witnessed a lot of things and seen a lot of things, and I just thought, as much as I would love to model in music videos, I just felt like being in these like particular like accessibility to like, you know, like these Instagram agencies and like pretty much like, you know, people who are just starting off or whatever, blah, blah, to bigger names. I feel like because there was such a level of, I don't know how to say this, because there was such a level of like expectancy, people wouldn't really like expect. So like they would, it's like if you didn't want to have a drink or if you didn't want to party afterwards or if you didn't want to talk to the man them or stuff like this, people would get like a hitch up about it. And sometimes even like try and not pay you at the end just because you didn't want to participate in something that was not in your job description. Like, you know, we're there to model and all of these things. Like, don't get me wrong, it's fine if you want to do certain things that are off script, but I feel like the expectancy of thinking that every girl is probably like this or every girl is like, you know, here to party or whatever, and then they get a hitch up about it and then you get treated badly or you know, you feel a certain type of way.
Was that the same wherever, like most of the music videos?
For me personally, it was most. It was most of them, especially like here, because I moved back to London in lockdown in 2020. And yeah, from there, it's like I've had like really, really good experiences I have. But there was times where it's just like, I'm worth more than this. And like we weren't even getting paid that good. Like sometimes it was only like 40, 50, maybe even £60 an hour, which is still good. But it's like then they say you're booked for an hour or two, you end up being there for like 8 because you're waiting to get paid at the end of it. And they're like, oh, stay, oh no, right, well, my man's going to do that, whatever, blah, blah. Like it was all just a bit too messy.
How do you find being on set? Because I did a show recently the other day and that was like my first experience like on set.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so like, not boring, but just being on set is just like a whole thing.
Yeah. I would say talking like set wise, like obviously like the more professional stuff that I've done, like to say like with Channel 4 and ITV and stuff like that. I find being on set amazing. Like it's so much fun, especially like if you've got other people with you, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, it's a lot of waiting around. Yeah, definitely a lot of waiting around. You're just waiting around and waiting around. But obviously, because they're doing like X, Y, and Z. But
getting set up and this
it's definitely a lot of waiting around.
Because when I had that the other day, and I was like, nah, I'm so bored. Like, and I need something to do. And I remember they had like the guys in one room just chilling, talking, the girls in the other, and it's like, I'm just checking my watch, like just waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, no, it can be a lot of waiting around for sure, definitely. But yeah, so like I've done shows where it's like you go for the day and you film, or you come back every couple of days you film, or you stay on set for a good couple of weeks. So the one that I did with Channel 4, which is Open House, we stayed on set for like 3 weeks. So with that, we kind of like ended up making our own entertainment in between it all because it's like one big sleepover. Right. So, you know, you can kind of like, once you're into it, you get to chill a bit more and whatever, and you know the timings of how things work. So you might go off, get a drink, chill, sit down, and then come back and stuff.
Things to do.
Yeah. So it makes it easier, I guess.
Fair enough. I mean, what's your experience like? So you're saying you do like modeling, freelance modeling?
Yeah. So like the agency that I'm in called On Scene, they'll give you like opportunities of like projects that you can like go to. And then there you just like they find what you can fit in the theme, and then they just take the pictures. And then...
Is there usually like you said theme, like specific ones that you do, or?
Yeah, I mean it just depends on like which one that you think like you fit into in it. So I just go to the ones that I think, yeah, this is like my type of vibe.
I was seeing from your socials like a lot of like anime and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean some of them, but there was one I did that was like really interesting. I think it was called Metamorph, and that one was this was like around Black History Month time, and it was called Metamorph because you know how you had like the chains that you used to like chain down the slavery, and that's why you can see me like with like grills and stuff, and that's to like signify how we like culturified it and into like jewelry and hip hop.
No, I never thought about it like that, but that makes so much sense.
That's the root from it.
Okay. And are these like specific locations or just anywhere?
Most of the ones I've done so far, it's sometimes it can be a location, but sometimes it could just be like a studio, and then they just like set up for what we're gonna do.
Yeah. And do you prefer like doing that for yourself or like through these agencies? Like how's it work?
I think for me it's just doing it through the agencies, because they just like tell you to reach out to the person. Person will not tell you the details, the day, the theme and everything you need to know for the shoot.
And just turn up.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. So yeah, Grace, with the open house, what was that show? I didn't really know what it was, but
I guess it depends. I don't know how censored your podcasts are.
Uncensored.
Uncensored. Okay, cool. So it's basically a show that is based, like, it's called Open House, the Great Sex Experiment. So it's basically where I'm a resident there. So it's me and like other residents that live in the manor, with a sex therapist, which is now a non-monogamous coach, Effie.
What is a sex therapist?
So in like the first 2 seasons, we had a sex therapist called Dr. Laurie, and she basically like is a therapist for anything in that sector, with it be in a relationship, out of relationship, individually, whatever, any type of sexuality. Like, she was a therapist in that. Effie in season 3, our latest one, she's a non-monogamy coach. So she's like more focused on couples, because that's what they do. They bring couples in who have been together for XYZ, and they are wanting to explore more of their like sexuality or more in their relationship and things like that. So they sit and speak to her, and she coaches them and gives them certain types of like challenges and activities to try and like overcome, and socials to like socialize and, you know, push out your comfort zone.
Right.
So yeah, so it's all based on that, like whatever the couple comes in to try and like achieve, it's mainly focused on that, and that's like it follows their journey through all of that. So yeah.
So you're part of the therapy or?
No, so they're like, their sessions are separate. So with the residents, we just we're there for the socials and for them to socialize with. So like we'll throw like parties, barbecues, whatever, etc., and they'll come and join us, and they'll just mingle, talk, feel like the vibe, and if there's anyone that they feel like as a couple or individually that they really gel with, they'll like ask them if they want to join them for something a bit more personal, like a hot tub or like personal games or whatever. And if it goes on, it goes on.
Okay.
So yeah.
Didn't realize there was so much therapy to sex, but
yeah, it's do you know what? It's a really good show because it's rather eye-opening and liberating. Like, there's a lot more to things like that meets the eye. I feel like a lot of people think it's very like, you do this, you do this, you do this, where there's like so many different avenues and paths in life that you can do with or with someone that, you know, it's all there to be explored.
No,
Yeah.
I know you're saying like you're moving around during lockdown and stuff. Like, what was your experience like with lockdown? And same for you, Bolu?
Well, I think lockdown, it was like, because it was like something I haven't experienced before.
I don't think anyone has.
Yeah, so obviously, but like something that's like something that's like, oh, like you don't know what to expect. You don't know what the world is coming to. You don't like. It's not something that's usually happening, or like something like the world is like prepared for before in a way. So like I think during that time you start to like question a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like life, like,
Oh well.
like did I get to like achieve? Because you don't know like what the world will actually like will change or become from. Yeah.
I just remember it being not even a dark time. It was just like, when is it going to end kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like as the months went on, it was like, okay, what's tomorrow? What's next week?
Yeah. I feel like with lockdown, at first, because I'm such a busy person, I was like, oh, stay in bed. So at first I was quite happy. Like, I was just relaxing and chilling and just like enjoying being home because I'm like never home. So I quite enjoyed it at first. But then like after 2-3 weeks, I was like, yeah, like, I know they gave us all these rules and stuff, but mate, if I've got this time to be out in nature, I'm going to go do it. I'm not doing it for an hour a day. You must be.
I just remember like the first week or two when it was kind of like up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And we just, like, no one not took it seriously, but because it was such an unknown thing,
Yeah.
like, everyone was just doing their own thing. And then when it got to, I think, well, like April, May or so, and they just stuck indoors.
Yeah, you're like, shit's actually happening.
Yeah.
I think for me it was because I was in school at the time, because of lockdown, I didn't really have to like study or really have to like care about like the exams and stuff.
Did that affect your exams or?
It actually kind of did, because I think initially they were saying it would just be the teacher would just predict your grades and
That would,
that would be it.
wait, so if you predicted like C or something,
Yeah, you just have to stick with that. But I think it was also around the time when they did a complete U-turn, and then we actually did the exam. I think that's obviously that was after when everything was just went back to normal.
like did that process sort of affect your mental health or what?
I actually think it did, because I remember like thinking, what if? Because I remember during that period I wasn't actually like focusing like for my exams, and then I think when they now did the U-turn, I was now panicking. Have I studied enough? Do I know enough? Will I be okay in the exam? So I think that's what it actually caused. Yeah.
What about you? How do you do in school?
How did I do in school? I did all right, to be honest. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, it was more towards the end that I was just like, started to become disinterested, turn up to school whenever I wanted to. Like, I started smoking weed. And I just kind of like went through that phase where it's like the whole world stimulation, like they're not even teaching us the right things. Like, I went through that phase and I was just like, this isn't what I want to be doing. Like, I knew I wanted to, perform in some shape or form. So I knew like I was excited to go to college because I knew that I could just fully focus on that. Whereas like there was a lot of pressure when leaving school to like stay at school and do your A-levels and like take on subjects I didn't want to. So I actually lied a little bit to my parents and said that I got into A-levels, but I was actually going to college.
Is it?
Yeah. And then I remember I invited them to my first like showcase performance, because obviously with studying that you put on shows. And then proved them to like, eat their words, and they were really happy to see me do what I did. And I was happy as well. So yeah.
What was your first experience of performing like in terms of confidence?
I feel like I've always been quite a confident person. Like even like when I think way back to like primary school, when you put on those little shows at primary school, like I was always very like, I wanna do the main role. Like, so I never really shied away from anything. I would say I've always been quite like confident, quite out there, quite like outspoken.
What about in terms of the people and like, you get like backlash and negative comments and stuff like that. Like, how do you find?
I feel like there was definitely a phase 100% where I felt like the color of my skin was really affecting me, and like my hair, because like when I was doing certain shows, they couldn't style my hair because they didn't know how to style my hair, and I just felt like a bit embarrassed and all these types of things. Yeah, massively it's changed. I would definitely went through a phase like I didn't even like even when I started dancing, like I would never have my natural hair out. I would never wear it naturally. I'd always have like blue eye contacts in. Really? I started to fake tan, even though it wouldn't really make that much of a difference. Like I was just like, I felt I definitely fell into that hole of like succumbing to people's like opinions and what society deems to be, you got to look like this to be successable. There's not many people.
I mean, you don't hear about it enough, but was that actually happening like a lot when you?
I wouldn't say like it happens more in, I would say, the dancing industry, in like the performance industry, like theatre and things like this. The productions that I was with, it wasn't in school. So like when it came to like putting on performance like in school or something like just like teenagehood, it was very apparent because the school that I went to, I was probably the blackest person there. Like, and I think I was the only black girl in my year, and I was surrounded by a lot of like Caucasian people who weren't educated on people. Like I was like, my dad, he's black, he's got dreads. I remember he'd come to my parents' evening, like have a string vest underneath and a shirt over the top of it, and people made so many comments about that as the years like went on, and like they would just like say certain things to me. Like I remember I got really self-conscious, so I didn't know anything about weave, but I just started like bundling up this weave and trying to like wrap it around my hair, and because it wasn't silky enough, people were like pulling on my hair at school being like, why is your hair not flowing?
Right.
And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. What do I do? Like,
I mean,
so,
what
yeah.
was your experience at school like? I mean, because you went Norwood, innit, or wherever.
Yeah, I went Norwood, and then I think where the change was when I went to a new school, and like I think it was weird for me because like the stuff that would regularly happen at the school I was before then, the new school was like kind of weird. It was like was like a completely like new like ballpark, like a completely new ball game.
How do you find that change?
At the very start, I hated it. But I think over time, I kind of like got used to it, like understanding like the way things actually works.
Was that more of like a white school, is it?
Yeah. So something kind of similar to hers, but yeah.
Okay, so like the reverse, basically.
Yeah.
And then, like, how does that make you feel though? Like, if you're, say, the only black person in your school or year, or
I mean, in my school, I was actually not actually the only black person. Like, it was like a decent amount. But I still felt like we were like outnumbered.
right?
Yeah, I think that kind of helped as well. Like, because it felt like I wasn't like the only one, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that builds confidence? Like,
Yeah, I think it does. I think it does help a little bit. Like, that you know, like, you're not the only one. There's actually other people like you
yeah.
as well.
I mean, did you experience like racism in your school at all?
Oh, I experienced heavy racism massively. The school I went to, and the thing is, it's like, I feel like I only noticed a lot of this as I got older, because when you're young and you're in it, you just think that things are normal. Like, you don't clock onto things. Like people making comments about my dad's dreads and the way he dresses and how he had a spliff behind his ear, and like people, like there was a room that ended up going around my school saying like, oh, like all we do is like smoke weed and we'll what there's people and stuff, and I'm like, what? My dad's got his own fucking mechanic business, though. What are you on about? And I remember like, yeah, I didn't even clock on this. As I got older, I look back at these times, and like the school that I'm with is actually part of the ministry of the royal family. Like Prince Charles, when he was Prince Charles, but he came and opened up the school. Like, it got knocked down, rebuilt, and all of these things. So you can only imagine. Like, it's so stereotypical. Like, everyone really does get picked up in their Range Rovers and goes horse riding, and like, so it was like, when I look back, I noticed a lot of comments that were made towards me, and especially the teachers as well. I remember my science teacher, like, I remember he would always just try and pick on me, and I'd never know why. But I remember I didn't even have a phone. Like, we weren't as fortunate as these other people around, and I didn't even have a phone at school. The phone I did have, me and my sister shared it, and she's older than me, so she held on to it just so mum and dad would know when we're coming to and from. And he would literally, I remember one time he proper shouted at me saying that I'm on my phone. My friend next to me was on, it was her phone. And I was like, I'm not even on my phone. And he was like, you're what? Just shouting all this abuse at me, literally dragged my table and chair outside and made me like learn through the window. And it's when I look back at how repetitive his type of behavior was towards me and nobody else. Like, there were some bad kids in that school as well. They never got their table dragged outside. They were never like screamed or shouted at in certain ways and things like this. And
but at the time, you just assumed
you just think you must be the problem. Like, oh, maybe I'm Alfie. Yeah, I'm gonna sit here like, you know, you're just trying to like bounce back. But then when I look back, I noticed a lot of different treatment, and even like within the school and stuff. Like, I remember some, like, I never got changed in like the actual changing room. Like, everyone get changed in the same room. There's like cubicles where you could get changed in, so I always went into the cubicle. And the girls always like, they made like really like horrible comments. They would say stuff like, oh, she's only doing that because do you know that like people like her have this and whatever and blah, blah, blah and whatever. And like, I remember a thing went around about brown nipples. And I was just like, I remember thinking like, oh my God, does that mean like, is there something wrong with me? Like, all these, like, it gives you like body dysmorphia and all of this. Like, but they don't know any better because that's what they've been taught. That's like their environment. They're a product of their environment. Kids are always a product of their environment.
It sounds like it didn't faze you because you just carried on.
No, that's just because you want to fit in. Because you just want to fit in, and you just like, you go about everything and you're just trying to like fit in because I am looking at everyone else and I do want my hair to be like them and I want to be popular and I want to fit in with these girls and whatever, and I want to be invited here and I want people to look at me and, you know, fancy me as well. So you don't really, especially because like we're not really educated on these type of things as well growing up. You just think, oh, okay, it must be normal. But then it's like when you get older, you're like, oh my God, that's actually so messed up. What the hell?
I mean, obviously you've done quite a few things now, like YouTube and Channel 4 and other stuff. I think you did, was it Badders, was it?
Yeah, I did Badders.
What was that experience like?
It was an experience. It was definitely an experience. Like, big up to Lana because she's definitely doing her thing. But yeah, I feel like in comparison to like, you know, doing something that's like an online show to a TV show and things like this,
There's more freedom, right?
there's obviously a lot of guidelines that are put in place, and like I remember there was something on the news recently about like Ofcom, and obviously Ofcom's very much in control of the TV shows, whereas this one is Lani, and you know it's a idea that she has herself, that she has to execute herself and control herself and do herself, and she's got all this madness running around. Like it would be hard for her to control. But as the seasons, well, obviously there's been a few seasons now, so you can see how it's getting more controlled and it's going into that direction. But it was mad.
I think it was something.
Mental health is definitely like
fights, right?
everywhere. I wasn't in any fights.
Right.
I was actually the only person who's not fought on there. The first season I came on as like a baddest girls, and then the second season I was invited back to host because I am like, not to say like no one's level-headed on there, but I'm someone who's obviously not involved in
as getting a fight. Must be.
Yeah, and I'm someone who like, you know, she likes the way that I talk, and she likes certain things and attributes that she knows that I could amplify and help, you know, for that season to help co-host and be the etiquette coach, things like this. So, but it was definitely mad. But the thing is, when you sign up to certain things, you need to understand certain things. You don't sign up to Badders to have a walk in the park. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's going, like, trouble is going to come knock on your doorstep. And I feel like a lot of people probably look at her and think, oh, but where's the mental health? Where's the HR? Where's this? Where's that? But it's like, that's not the show. That's not the show. So it's about messiness. It's about being a bad bitch. It's about confrontation and online presence of like these TikToks and fighting back and forth and blah, blah. And people going deep.
What's the story you can share from that?
Huh?
What's the story you can share from that?
What's the story I can share from it? Oh God, I don't even know what I could share from it. You can just search it, you'll find so many. Like
there must be something not on camera.
Something not on camera. I don't really know, to be honest. I don't really know like in like what context.
I don't know, a conversation or a fight that weren't seen, or I don't know, something like that. There must have been something heated that was said where you're like, well,
I mean, there's a lot of things, not like in the essence that I'm involved in, but there's a lot of things that you do witness that's from the show. That is like, whoa. I feel like everything's whoa. Like, but that's the beauty of it, because that's, you know, it's like rage bait, it's clickbait, it's TV, it's the new genre of like black television as well. Like it's very like popping in all these different countries. She's the one to start it and really make it a light here. So I would just say like the things that make me go, whoa, was just like, it's mad how it, obviously with the previous seasons, I feel like more now it's starting to get more control of staying actually in the show a little bit. Like people leave their beefs until the show happens and whatever, blah, blah. Whereas like before, people are like pulling up to each other and like you're witnessing this firsthand in your TikTok live and stuff like this. And, you know, people's families are being targeted in certain aspects. But
it actually happened.
Yeah. Like, I couldn't say what exactly, but I just know there's certain beefs like where people have pulled up. Like you can literally just search it and things will come up for you to see. But yeah, it is mad. But that aspect I can see is getting more under control as it goes on. People think, I'm just gonna wait till I see you instead of pulling up wherever, you know.
Well, what about you? Would you ever do TV or anything?
You know what? I'm actually considering it. Yeah. Hopefully, maybe some point in the future, something I actually do gamble.
What, like reality TV or?
Yeah, I think in more the sense of acting.
Acting. Oh, okay. You don't even like performing arts or studies or?
No, like the only ones I've like actually done is like the school ones. You know, we used to do like in primary or secondary.
The little plays and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So what, that and a bit of software engineering?
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, well, we got a few writing questions from our audience, so we're going to get right down to it. So a girl's written, I've been seeing my partner for a couple months now, and it's going really well, but he never posts me on socials. Should I be worried? Or is that a red flag?
See, I feel like it's all to do with like whatever dynamic, like how long they've been together, whatever. But I don't think it's a red flag because I am that person. Like I won't post my partner if like needs be. I
Do you
feel
think
like
it's normal to post each other?
I feel like it's 50-50.
But I feel like at the same time, people have the reasons not to, because like, if let's say like someone knows you're talking to this person and you've posted them, someone could then go to that person because they obviously see them with your story. They could just like manipulate, like they could just make some story up, and then that could just
So I feel like there's a level of privacy to relationship.
That's it. Yeah.
Obviously, some are more in the limelight than others, but I think there's something you should just keep personal, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's a red flag. I feel like it's it's keeping things private and to yourself.
I guess it's that thing of where like for some girls, I feel they have that fear of, oh, is he with someone else or something like that, innit? But
Yeah.
I think it's just a thing of like,
you have to just trust.
are you embarrassed to like be with me, or like, are you not proud of
Socially for that. It's a level of trust, I would say.
Yeah, it's definitely a level of trust as well. And like, don't let your own insecurities get in the way of that.
So the next one is, so me and my partner have been together about 8 months now and things are going great. However, he still follows his ex and liking her pictures. I haven't said anything for a while, but am I insecure for thinking there might be something there?
It's just so hard to think of an answer for these things because
Well, put it this way, would you allow your boyfriend to like to be in contact with his ex?
obviously there's a certain level of type of contact, but I really wouldn't mind because I don't believe that like, you know, every ex has to be bad. Obviously if something bad has genuinely happened and something bad has taken place, it's not in the essence of like, you know, people can still be civil and just, you know, show respect and love. You like, it all comes down to what you said about like trust. Like,
I just think longer term, that I don't think it really works. I don't think it works.
yeah, like it doesn't have to be like, you're not like in the DMs talking every day and asking how they are. But like, you know, if you're just aimlessly scrolling, double tap, whatever, cool. Like,
in that context, maybe, but let's say they were like talking on WhatsApp, for example.
yeah,
It's a bit different, right?
I would say, yeah, like when you're talking on WhatsApp, like, unless, I don't know, maybe you have like a kid together,
That's
understandable, different. Yeah. But if it's just like past relationships, been and gone, yeah, I would just double check, like just ask the question. I feel like if you can't ask your partner a question, like you should be able to go up to them and be like, you know what, I'm feeling this type of way. What's going on here? This is what I've witnessed. And they should be able to come back to you without stuttering and, you know, reassure you and make you, you know, feel like there's nothing to worry about.
What about you? How do you feel if your girl is in contact with her ex?
I don't know, still feel some type of way. I think, like for me, I'll just like start to feel like they haven't fully like moved on from them.
You know what? Would you do something about it?
Not necessarily. I don't feel like it's a place. Like if they do end up like coming back together, that's between them. But
you wouldn't call them out on it though.
I feel like I would, but I wouldn't be like the type of person to make it like a big problem. Yeah. Like just like, you know, just shout and be like, oh, you're still talking to. Yeah, I think for me it'll be like I would be more sort of try to approach the situation more calmly. I feel like when you do it,
on the benefit of the doubt,
you're just making it more worse.
Yeah, as man. But yeah, that's been the Chat to Cam podcast. I'm glad you've enjoyed listening in. I'll be back with some more episodes. But yeah, to wrap up, where can they find you on socials?
You wanna go first?
I'll go first. Bolu Benji on Instagram.
And I'm the Grace Florence on all platforms: Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram.
Twitch.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the end of that bombshell.
And yeah, you know me at Chat to Cam. Till the next time.